This is Widgets Odyssey 2, a PlayStation Mini which brings the stirring Widgets Odyssey saga to a rousing, interstellar conclusion, and leaves us to wonder if the third time might have been the charm. So if you've been watching Undertow, and by God you should be, you should recognize our robotic pals Spad, Cosmo, Bruce, Helmet, and Monk. They were the steel-plated protagonists of the original Widgets Odyssey, and they've returned to the PlayStation Network for Widgets Odyssey 2. But evidently, they haven't learned much. After all, they are, robots. We rejoin our clinking, clanking, clattering collection of colliginous junk as it makes its final stand against the evil Yegor, a galactic jerk with an awesome name. Now, once again, the story is told with solid cutscenes and animations bolted to a solid foundation of humor, and like the original game, style and presentation are definitely the high points of Widgets Odyssey 2. Not to mention the name of the villain, Yegor. How awesome is that? My firstborn son will be named Yegor. But unfortunately, this sequel shares the shortcomings of its predecessor as well. Indeed, the same bolts that were loose in the first game have gone untightened in this follow-up. Now, one of my biggest criticisms of the first title was that the design of its levels made playable ground difficult to discern. And not only is that criticism still applicable in Widgets Odyssey 2, it's kind of been worsened by an improvement. You see, the backgrounds are even more detailed this time, as Frima Studios seems to have gone out of its way to make the levels look even more interesting. And they totally did, mission accomplished. But at the same time, the increased complexity of the game's beautiful backgrounds does nothing to make your objectives clearer. Where can I go? Is that thing a platform or just part of the background? These questions not only recur in Widgets Odyssey 2, but if anything, they're kind of more difficult to answer this time around. So what does that mean for you, the player? Well, it means plenty of trial and error, as well as a general sense of unclarity. You see, not only are the platforms an issue to discern, but so are the objectives of the levels. Indeed, you spend as much time trying to figure out what to do in Widgets Odyssey than you spend playing the game. No, literally, there are still only 4 levels, and they can be completed in less than 2 hours at the most. So, for every improvement Frima made, from the seemingly more complex backgrounds to the addition of unique minigames to break up the platforming, there still seems to be a problem or two holding the game back. It's still unclear, it's still short, and it's still not a whole lot of fun. Which is a real shame, because the characters are definitely likable. Perhaps if their CPUs had been neuronet processors, learning computers, they may have adjusted based on the mistakes of their first outing. But as it stands in Widgets Odyssey 2, watching the adventure of Spad, Cosmo, Bruce, Helmet, and Monk is a lot more fun than controlling it.